I'm Thomas LeRoy, founded the sect of the Horn God. Now, a few days ago, I made a video on entitled "Your Demons," and basically, I was getting to the point that your demons aren't personal metaphysical beings visiting you, but the shadow side of yourself and your psyche, as Jung would call it, Carl Jung. Now, recently a friend asked me, how do I integrate my demons? Well, that is a good question. How do you? A lot of it depends on the individual. But one thing you don't want to do is ignore your demons, if you know what I mean. Picture it this way. Let's say you got a bunch of pit bull puppies, okay, and you keep them locked up in your basement, and the only time you go to see them is when you toss them some scraps from your table, and they pounce on you, of course, because they're excited to see you. They're exuberant. And so what do? You whip them with a leash or a belt or whatever. Now, as those pit bull pups grow, what do you think they're going to turn into? And how healthy will they be for you or others? Now, another example. Okay, I have a close friend, and where we connect is we're both big time movie lovers. And me and my buddy, we often discuss films. And what he'll ask me, like, let's say I have a film to recommend him, he'll ask me, is it safe for my wife to watch? And what he's getting at is that she is so, how should I say, timid when it comes to violence. I mean, even the slightest indication of any kind of violence. Now, both of them are part of I guess you can call them a right-hand path pseudo-Hindu group, and where the basic philosophy is everything's wonderful, everything's fine. It's kind of I don't know. This group emerged from the late '60s, early '70s, kind of hippie deal, and so she has this very rainbow and puppies interpretation of the world. Well, like I said, the slightest indication of violence, she just freaks and she'll leave the room or whatever. I'd be willing to bet this woman is terrified of the dark. It's a shame. She's obviously not integrating her demons. I bet you she's extremely insecure. Now, when you're on the left-hand path, you want to integrate your demons. You want to invite them in, sit them down, have a beer or a glass of wine with them, if you know what I mean. Now, I've recently been dealing with the flu. Okay, it's lasted off and on for a couple of weeks or whatever. Now, when you're sick, a lot of people, you have those bizarre, feverish dreams. Well, I had a dream. And in my extremely vivid dream, I had this dream where I was sitting at a friend's house, watching a large screen TV, and a documentary came on. And this documentary was about a demon. This demon, if you can picture, was standing in the back of a cart, being pulled by goats, but these goats were dead. These were reanimated zombie goats, for lack of a better description. Now, the demon himself was wearing a long gray robe. And out of the top of the robe, where you would figure a neck would be, there was a wrist. Okay? And that wrist, that hand, at the end of that wrist, was clutching a head with a very blank, let's say, placid face, androgynous face, neither male nor female, eyes tied, eyes closed tightly, mouth closed, but it spoke. And the name of this demon, the name popped up on the screen. It said Salter. So, of course, after I woke up, I thought, fuck, wow, what the hell was that? And I was thinking, well, possibly that's my demon, if you will, manifesting itself to me, coming from my subconscious, because everybody knows. I mean, anybody who's seen my videos know how skeptical I am. I'm not saying I've been literally visited by some demonic being. Obviously, it's I don't know, let's call it a poetic or an artistic or symbolic representation of my own personal demon. Now, I was quite moved by that dream. Like I said, very vivid, very interesting. The look of the creature was fascinating. Now, the other day, I'm listening to a podcast, and it's a woman. It's a Gnostic podcast, and this gentleman is interviewing this woman who'd written this book about Dionysus, and it was about the comparison between Dionysus and Christ. I think a lot of us are aware of that a lot of similarities between the two mythological beings, if you will. Now, in this podcast, this woman referred to Dionysus using the Greek word for savior, and that word was Salter. Same word that popped up in my dream. Now, I don't remember ever seeing this word before, but I most likely have, and I most likely buried it away in my subconscious. But you never know.